in the New York Phil when you made this decision to switch, right?
Yes, I was.
Now, did you speak with Joseph Alessi because you did your undergrad and master's with him? Did you talk to him, say, hey, thinking about switching to bass, what do you think?
Yes, I did. And it wasn't more asking permission, but it was more saying, hey, I would like to be more a part of this section because I love this orchestra. I love the New York Philharmonic, and I want to be here for a long time. I don't see that happening by my being associate principal trombone, but I do see that happening if I'm bass trombone. It's sort of like going from utility infielder to right field. I'm out there all the time. You know, I might get more balls hit my way, I might get fewer balls hit my way. I'm going to get less work than an infielder would, but I'll be out there all the time. So I spoke to him and he was 100% supportive. Really wonderful with me in that we would go on tour, we'd play stuff in octaves. He certainly did, he coached me once or twice. I played for him before the audition to get an idea of things that I could work on, and he was very noble in terms of, you know, giving me a little bit of guidance.
So would you mind talking to us a little bit about how you structure your practice throughout the day?
Okay, so this is a loaded question because there are two answers.
Yeah.
The question is how you should structure your practicing throughout the day, and the other question is how I structure my practicing throughout the day, because those are entirely different things. And it's not a do as I say and not as I do, it's I have life. As you mentioned, I'm currently the co-chair of the Brass and Percussion Department at AC, soon to be the full-time chair. I'm also the chair of the Players Committee here in the BSO. In addition to that, obviously I'm teaching. In addition to that, I have my 4 children and my wife. When I put all that together, the amount of time that I have to devote to me practicing tends to be more limited. So what I encourage my students to do is to see that practicing is like putting money in the bank. And just like any investment, you don't get the same rate of return on any investment. And some things that you do well, you're going to see a very high rate of return. If you play high well, naturally it's easy. You don't have to put a whole lot of time in to make your upper register even better. But for the things that are hard for you, if you struggle with single tonguing speed, you could put a lot of time in and not see a whole lot of result. You get a very low rate of return on. So what do you need to do when you practice? Well, if you want to have a portfolio where you can do everything, you've got to put a lot of time on the things that you get a very low rate of return on. The things that you don't do well, you've got to put a lot of time in now. The things that you do well, you can put less time in. You still have to practice them. You can't put in nothing. So you have to manage your time that way. So how I would do things when I'm with my students and how I did things when I was younger is the first session would be fundamentals. Things like Arbans, maybe even Kopráš. My second session would be etudes. Bordoni, I can include Kopráš in there, I can include Blažević's. Third session would be any solos that I was working on. Fourth session would be any excerpts. But that's not necessarily a hard and fast rule. There are times that you're going to want to spend more time on fundamentals because you've got more fundamentals to work on. There are going to be times that you're going to spend less time on fundamentals because you're doing a competition and you've got to prepare 4 solos. Or you have an audition coming up and you've got to prepare 20 excerpts. And you're not going to save excerpts for your last hour in the day or last 45 minutes. You want to be fresh when you do those. That's sort of a baseline. As for me, what I tell people is I'm at the stage in life where I'm not living off the interest, but I'm relying on the interest of the investment that I put in years ago. That's not shying away from the fact that I still have to practice, but when I practice, the time that I have is more limited, and it generally tends to be situational. If I've got a recital, I'll practice beginning maybe 3 to 4 weeks out of that recital. I'll begin practicing that repertoire. That's for the simple reason that I need to manage my time with everything that needs to have the time managed. I'm getting better at managing my time, but I want to make sure that nothing suffers. As a result, nothing is really always fantastic, but I want to make sure that nothing's terrible too. When I do recitals, I do practice the repertoire beginning 3 to 4 weeks out. I also try to maintain 45 minutes to an hour of daily trombone time outside of the job, outside of the orchestra. If I can do that, I generally tend to be in pretty good shape.
So you would suggest doing multiple sessions per day for your students? One session, taking a couple hours off to do other things, another session, couple hours, another session, couple hours, so it's throughout the day and not all at one time?
Absolutely. When you have to consider that we for a living we are squeezing flesh between bone and metal and making it vibrate, that's a pretty destructive way to make a living. You need to give yourself rest in that time. And it's important to rest within the day, and it's equally important to rest at the end of the day. That's when the body recovers. We're much more likely to get injured if we practice really hard and then stay up late, don't go to bed, need to get up the next morning for a rehearsal, didn't really take care of ourselves, only got 5 hours of sleep. You really can create problems for yourself that way very, very quickly. What I encourage students to do is do a session in the morning. Have it not be too hard, not too stressful, but get the time in. Take a break. Do a session in the afternoon. Take a break. Do sessions in the evening. 2 sessions in the evening, back to back, separated by a 15-minute break. That's manageable. And pay attention to your body. What kind of sessions are you doing? Are the sessions wearing you out? Are the sessions not wearing you out? And it's sort of the way I have to manage my time in the orchestra. If we're doing a Shostakovich symphony, my practice time is going to be light. It's going to be 20 minutes to 30 minutes in a day on the days that I've got Shostakovich symphonies, and it's going to be largely soft playing or flexibility because I'm hammering out fortissimo short notes and I need to do something the opposite. If, on the other hand, we've got a week like we have now, Brahms 2, where there's a lot of, play 3 bars, play 4 bars, and then sit for 12 bars, 16 bars, 30 bars, 60 bars. I have to practice differently. I have to practice things that are going to get me playing longer phrases, longer periods of time, so that when I need to come in for these short entrances, these short times, I've got it, and I know that it's going to work.
Well, thank you very much for offering us your time today. I know your schedule is very limited from what you said earlier, so thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today, and good luck with your concert tonight.
Thanks. Thanks
Yep.
a lot, Matt. I appreciate
Yep.
it. Thanks very much.